is the first time that you play in Italy and then you are on tour with your band. So how did you find the feedback with the public in general in this tour?
Well, no, we played in Milan in 2000 with Immortal, and then we played with Solstafir, Negirabunjit and Eloete maybe 18 months ago, 20 months ago, just outside Milan. So we played twice before, but this is the first time we've ever been to Rome, so in the south of Italy. So maybe only 3 times in the north of Italy in 20 years, so it's pretty rare.
Yes. And then you travel a lot in these years, and so I guess you know the main difference between I think that you support Naki in Europe, because I think that the feedback of the public is different in some places that you visited around the world.
Yeah. You want to know the difference between here and other countries? Okay, well, I mean, the problem I think for a city like Rome is that because it's in the south of Italy, if you're on a tour, you have to, it's 7-8 hours drive down from the north and then back up. So most tours don't go to the south, only to the north. But no, I mean, it's cool. The people here are passionate, and they realize that it's an unusual thing for us to be playing, and we've been trying to make it happen for a couple of years to play in Rome, and because I've written quite a bit about Roman culture and metaphors and that kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting to play some of those songs here. So, if that's what you mean.
Yes, of course. So, but in your opinion, there's a music evolution from your previous albums, because I think that this is different from music and from vibes. Could you explain these differences?
What, the progression in the music?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think you can hear it's the same band who made the new album as made the demo. I don't think you can hear, like, Primordial hasn't radically changed, but what we have done is made our own sort of path, our own style, our own signature sound, and slowly added elements to that. It's just, I mean, it mirrors our evolution as people. So, like, when I made the first album, I was 18 years old. The demo when I was 16, 17 years old. I'm now 38. So, you change as a musician and you add things, but I don't think it's drastic, but we have a particular sort of signature sound. So.
Yes, because I think that it's an evolution, redemption of the Puritan hands. I think that is structured as a production totally different from the other. And so could you explain this difference and feelings after the release?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's that different to The Nameless Dead, but it's maybe a little bit more challenging, a little bit less instant. It's a bit darker. The themes changed. The themes are more about mortality, morality, our relationship to death, and the structures we try and place around it to make sense of it. So in that sense, it's thematically a little bit different from the history, politics, and it's a bit more personal in some sense.
Yes, because I found also the lyrics are particular, because I think that there are something that you can explain.
Well, I mean, the first song and the last song,
yes,
they still have the cultural sort of political angle a bit. The middle stuff like Mouth of Judas and other songs like Lane with the Wolf are more about, like I said, our relationship to mortality and death. And obviously me being older than I was, when you're in your 20s, you're very idealistic, you think you're bulletproof, you think you're going to live forever, and you get into your 30s and things change, and it's about the acceptance of mortality and how you deal with it, so yeah, the themes have changed a bit, So.
Yes, I think, and I think that is the last question for us. I think that what would advise for people who want to start playing music, because I think that there are a lot of difficulties and so on.
Yeah.
It's not very easy.
No, well, it depends what you want. If you want to just play music for the sake of playing music, then I mean that's really up to anybody. But if you actually, if you want to actually start a band now and actually get somewhere, as in sell records, eventually even make a little money, the odds are now stacked so against you compared to 20 years ago or 30 years ago. It's almost impossible. We're living in an age where what one person creates, another person feels is their entitlement for free. It's kind of the ultimately it's leading to some, I think, some sort of artistic ice age or something like this. You know, there's lots of great bands, lots of creative bands, but we might maybe scratch the name artist off the, you know, the list of things you might be able to possibly make a living from. You know? It's difficult, and it's becoming more and more difficult. You know, it's very difficult to make people give a fuck about anything anymore. Thankfully, with Primordial, we have history, and we have created a fan base over these years of loyal people who know that what the band stands for. And, but for starting a new band, it's fucking hard. To get people's attention, you know, these days you're going to have to play the game, and like for every ghost, there's thousands of bands who never make it. But it depends what you mean by making it. If you're happy to make music and somebody listens to it, okay. Which is okay when you're in your early 20s, mid-20s, but maybe if you've been putting all your money into this and all of a sudden you're 35 and you have kids, and it changed a lot. So the answer is, do it, but it's difficult.
But now you think that the internet has music, so to promote music, do you think that internet has to promote music?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, of course, I have no problem with somebody if you're from, I don't know, Siberia or something, and you've no way to get the music and you can download something. You know, it's not, in essence, the downloading as such as the climate that it creates, the climate where everybody feels that everything is for free. And if what you make, say you can download 7 Primordial albums in 45 seconds, a kid might listen to 2 minutes of the first song, nah, don't really like that, a minute of the second song, click, drag, into the trash.
Yes.
So 23 years of your career is a click and a drag and in the trash. And if that's what ultimately something that is your life's work can mean in 2014, then we're heading somewhere even worse, I think. But you know, I'm a natural sort of peasant. But it's a double-edged sword. I mean, like if you take something like Spotify, one stream on Spotify is like 0.00059 of a cent. So to make any money from streaming on Spotify, you've got to, I don't know, have 30 million streams or something.
Yes, of course, I think that it could cut also loads possibly and so on.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
And so, another question? No.
So now it's time to
I think that another question is for me, because you say that for Primordial, what are the difficulties that that your band found when you began to play music?
When we began?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, we started the band in 1991 when we were 16, 18, 19 years old, and I mean, back then in the late 80s...
Because the music scene was totally different from...
Yeah, of course.
Us.
I mean, but in Ireland, you know, you have to understand that Ireland was like a small island way on the outskirts of Europe. We were involved in the underground and tape trading and, you know, fanzines and all that kind of stuff, but we didn't have anyone to trade local shows with. Like, when we started out, the guys in, like, end of the 80s, early 90s, Dublin was a sort of really rough, violent sort of place, and we sort of grew up amidst that. So playing in a band was a kind of a reason to try and escape the sort of, I guess, almost second world conditions in Dublin at the time. Like, to be into metal in 1990 Dublin, you were going to have to fight every weekend to have long hair, or to be into metal, or to wear a metal shirt. That's not an exaggeration. Anybody who was there at the time knows. But so, you know, even getting instruments, decent instruments, and find somewhere to rehearse was really difficult. But having said that, you know, I've been to gigs in Honduras. And so, so we really didn't have it that bad. You know, we weren't behind the Iron Curtain, we weren't considered, but you just have to do what you have to do. So, yeah, it's changed a lot, but they were good days in some way because they gave you character. And this is the character that we have now, so we don't kind of accept sort of attitudes from each other or this kind of thing, you know, I guess. You know.
Thanks for this interview with this, buddy.
No problem, it's alright.
So
Remember, listen to Doc. That's the best advice you can have.
So, what do you think? What do you think is could be the perfect greetings? Your perfect greetings, your perfect primordial greetings for Italian people?
Joy and strength. That's it. That's it. And Doc.